The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces has confirmed a strike on the Energia plant in Yelets, Lipetsk region, Russia. As a result of the attack, the facility's operations have been suspended for an indefinite period, according to the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. It is noted that units of the Unmanned Systems Forces, in coordination with other defense forces, attacked the Russian enterprise Energia, which holds an important position within Russia's defense complex. The targeted facility manufactures batteries and accumulators for various types of Russian weaponry. This includes Universal Gliding and Correction Module, which Russia installs on aerial bombs, as well as components for Iskander-M ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and more. Explosions were recorded on the territory of the plant. Production has been halted. The results of the strike are being clarified. The defense forces continue to take measures to undermine the military economic potential of the Russian occupiers and force the Russian Federation to end its armed aggression against Ukraine, the statement reads. Following the night of July 3rd, Russian sources reported a series of attacks on Russian territory. Among the targets was the Energia plant in Yelets, with reports of damage. Additionally, the Tambov gunpowder plant in the city of Kotovsk caught fire. The facility has been targeted by drone strikes several times before. According to local authorities, at least 3 Russians were killed in the strike. An unidentified explosive device detonated in the center of Luhansk, killing Manolis Pilavov, a high-ranking collaborator. Invasion authorities previously appointed Manolis Pilavov to the position of the so-called head of the Luhansk city administration. The Russian Federal News Agency, TASS, confirmed the explosion and Pilavov's death. He headed the occupation administration from 2014 to 2023. According to Russian media, the explosion occurred on Taras Shevchenko Street. It is reported that the explosive device was detonated at the moment when Pilavov was passing by. As of 1 p.m., the invasion administration reported 1 dead and 3 wounded as a result of the explosion. One of the victims is in serious condition. According to preliminary data, the explosive device was placed in a trash can. Sources in the SSU told Suspiln that it was the security service that conducted the operation to eliminate it. Pilavov was wanted by the Security Service of Ukraine on charges of violent change of power, encroachment on the territorial integrity of Ukraine, and creation of a terrorist organization. He was born in Luhansk. It is also reported that between September and November 2009, he served as president of the Luhansk football club Zorya. The last such incident involving the elimination of the invaders in Luhansk was recorded last year. In October, the car of a Russian army major exploded in the city center. Major Dmitro Pervuka, Chief of Staff for Military Service and Security of the Military Unit 53847 of the Central Military District, was killed. Russian terrorists can launch up to 500 attack UAVs at once, but not on a daily basis. Kirill Budanov. In a comment to Ukrainian media, the head of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine also confirmed that the Russians are continuously improving their drones.
Кожного дня?
Кожного дня?
Ні.
Так, не кожного дня. Наскільки ймовірно, що вони почнуть застосовувати там по 500-400 шахедів щодня?
Кожного дня нереально це робити, періодично робити. На жаль, така змога у них є. До 500 вони реально можуть запускати в єдиному залпі. В єдиному пуску.
Russian drone attack on Odessa last night damaged a 9-story residential building. 50 people were evacuated. 5 were injured, including 2 children. Several apartments were completely destroyed. A multi-story residential building and other civilian infrastructure were damaged, Regional Governor Oleg Kuiper said on the Telegram messaging app. 6 apartments were completely destroyed. Another 36 were partially damaged, he said. The children, who were poisoned by combustion products, were hospitalized, Kuiper said. The other 3 injured people, all adults, received medical aid on the site. The full scale of the attack was not immediately known. There was no immediate comment from Russia about the attack. Both sides denied targeting civilians in their strikes during the war that Russia launched against Ukraine more than 3 years ago. But thousands of civilians have died in the conflict, the vast majority of them Ukrainian. The State Emergency Service of Ukraine posted on its Facebook page photos showing rescuers carrying children in the dark out of a multi-story apartment building on fire and firefighters fighting the blaze. The service said that 50 people were evacuated from the building. The fire has been extinguished since, Kuiper said. Amid rising tensions between Russia and Azerbaijan, Russian propagandist Solovyov, as he usually does, has begun threatening Azerbaijan. Relations between the two countries are rapidly deteriorating following ethnic raids in Russia and reciprocal detentions of Russians in Azerbaijan.
With all due respect to Azerbaijan, its history and tradition, if Russia raises an eyebrow for a moment, we are the third largest trading partner of Azerbaijan. And I want to remind you of the amount of money transferred from Russia to Azerbaijan and not from Azerbaijan to Russia. And then apparently the situation may change significantly. This is exactly what they are counting on, or considering the 300 kilometers of border. And reading what they allow themselves and watching how on central television everyone allows themselves to say, do you wish to fight? I am sure that no one in their right mind with sober memory living in the territory of Azerbaijan would reach such stupidity.
The reasons and possible consequences of the recent escalation in Russia-Azerbaijan relations. Russia's lack of strategic progress in Ukraine. Despite intensified Russian strikes on Ukrainian cities and Russian attacks on the front lines, Ukraine continues demilitarizing Russia, destroying Russian oil refineries, military factories, air defense systems, trains, and other military infrastructure. Russian economy has a lot of issues and struggles with financing the war. At the NATO summit, Europe has committed to increase its military and defense spending, as well as increase financing for the Ukrainian military industry, targeting more investments towards arms production in Ukraine. The situation in Iran, Russia's ally that received no help from Russia. The same happened in Syria earlier. Putin and Russia is losing their geopolitical influence at Caucasus, although Putin doesn't want to acknowledge and accept that. Economic redistribution of property in Russia. Azerbaijanis and people from the Caucasus own a large share of markets in Russia. A huge reprivatization campaign is already ongoing in Russia, with the key role played by the Russian prosecution and FSB, controlled by the Kremlin. Lukoil owner Vagit Alekperov is also from Azerbaijan. Lukoil is a Russian private-owned oil company, the second largest in Russia and the largest private oil company in the world by proven stores of crude oil. An attempt to re-privatize this company is possible. Recently, information appeared in the media that the head of the Ural Production Association of the Lukoil group of companies, Ahmed Gadzhiev, was detained in Yekaterinburg as well. One more possible reason is broader geopolitics connected with the war in Iran, the issues of air and energy corridors with Turkish interests playing a large role. The presence of Turkey's interests in the Caucasus is very painful for the Kremlin. All these are signs of a collapse of the Russian Empire. More and more countries that have been under the Russian sphere of influence and control are trying to get out of the Kremlin's reach. Moldova, Azerbaijan, Armenia, to name just a few. Russia is losing its influence in the Middle East. All of these processes were launched by Russia's war in Ukraine. Ukraine fights not just for our own freedom and independence. We fight for all people whom Russia considers their colonies. The empire will fall. And for the end. Speaking on Fox News, Rutte also responded to Lavrov's comment that increasing NATO countries' budgets would lead to the collapse of the organization. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte mocking Lavrov.
And then to Lavrov, I mean, he is foreign minister of Russia, I think, since the birth of Jesus Christ. And since then, anything useful came out of his mouth. So let's not pay too much attention to Mr. Lavrov.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.